the last couple of years, there has been a dramatic change pertaining to how businesses make their hiring decisions, especially in the business of television. For decades, positions were given to the most qualified candidate. Now, there's a lot more that goes into qualifications than your typical credentials like education, work experience, background. Things like how well would you fit in with our company culture? When it comes to television, let's not lie to ourselves and pretend like physical appearance doesn't matter. When Roger Ailes was running Fox News, there was a reason he hired smart, beautiful women. They're easy on the eyes. Roger Ailes knew they would attract the attention of 18 to 49-year-old dudes. Now, of course, MSNBC, they go with the opposite strategy. Fox has Rachel Duffy, Laura Ingraham, Kat Temp. MSNBC, they give us beautiful woke women like Joy Reid. It's like Halloween every night in primetime on MSNBC. Which matching wig will Joy Reid wear with her costume tonight? Over the last couple of years, qualification standards, they have changed in the world of television. Now, physical appearance still matters, but not in the sense of attractiveness. Networks, they are more concerned with color than appeal. Hiring decisions, they are based on the constantly changing standards of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, what if I told you the primetime lineup of a major cable news network consisted of a gay male birthing persons and two female birthing persons? Both females have went through the gender affirmation process to properly confirm their true gender. Now, this would represent true diversity, right? This would check all three woke boxes of diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? Gay man who has the ability to get pregnant, check. Female birthing persons, check. More importantly, we have done our due diligence and excluded any candidates who choose to identify as straight white males. Now, this should be enough to satisfy the wanker spankers, right? Wrong. Earlier this week, CNN announced exciting new changes to our primetime lineup. Oh, these changes! They are guaranteed to finally sink the Titanic. Andy Cooper, he will remain in his time slot. This is AC 360, the program guaranteed to put you to sleep in 360 seconds. Alisyn Camerota, she will not only remain in her time slot, she has been given a promotion, an additional hour in prime time. Well, KC, who in the hell is Al Rhoda? Now, don't get this birthing person confused with Al Roker. Alisyn Camerota, she does not identify as a black man whose weight is in constant fluctuation. She chooses to identify as a white woman. She is successfully exploiting the Don Lemon path to failure, too. Ratings were so bad during the 1 hour in primetime she was hosting, CNN decided to give her an extra hour. What a brilliant strategy by CNN President Chris Licht. I know how to solve this ratings problem. Let's give our viewers an extra hour of anonymous Alisyn. There was one problem left for Chris Licht to solve. He still had one more hour in prime time to fill. For months, he has begged Charles Barkley to patch the holes in the Titanic. Charles Barkley said, "No thanks, I am afraid of water and failure." He offered millions of dollars in woke welfare to Johnny Stewart. "John, please inform our dwindling audience about the trauma you have experienced when you realized you had white privilege." John Stew, he said, "No thanks. I'm comfortable not entertaining the 40 people who fall asleep watching me on Apple TV." At one point, Chris Licht became so desperate, he asked Travis Noah to join CNN. I know you guys are familiar with Travis. Some of you guys prefer to call him Trevor Noah, but Travis seems more fitting for a huge embarrassing failure. After being turned down more times than a fat girl looking for a prom date, Chris Licht decided to look internally. "I can't find anyone willing to take a job in this dump, but I have another idea." Turns out, the final nail in CNN's coffin was right there this entire time, sharing the woke wiener with Donnie Lemon. This woman is guaranteed to finish the job. For the last 7 months, She has been co-hosting CNN This Morning, where she successfully decreased ratings by 15%. She is a woman of many talents. She moonlights as a bartender, making the perfect Don Collins. In her spare time, she pretends to be a correspondent at the White House, where she asks the identifier pretending to be the White House press secretary all the real important questions. KGP, how did you become the first minority LGBT member to land the role as White House press secretary? Well, that is a great question, Katie. I told Joe Biden if he gave me the job, I would volunteer to become a lesbian. Chris Light decided to fill the final primetime hour on CNN with Kaitlin Collins. Oh, Katie Roo! Who? Katie Roo! Katie Roo! Now you may be wondering how Chris Light came to this brilliant decision. That was the first question I asked because Katie Roo's young mainstream media career can only be described as a huge embarrassing failure. Like I said, she has failed to resonate with morning viewers. Earlier this month, Ruru was given a full week in prime time. There was no Donnie Lemon to blame for this failure. There was no Poppy Harlow to provide opioid pain relief. Success or failure would be determined by Rue and Rue alone. Now, of course, Katie did not disappoint. During her weekend prime time, Katie drew 567,000 viewers, a decline of 100,000 from the lead-in audience given to her by Andy Cooper. And she ranked dead last in cable news for the hour. There are concerns internally throughout CNN with this new and improved primetime lineup. When looking at this lineup, normal people, we can spot the obvious concerns. Lack of star power, lack of identity, lack of name recognition, lack of relatability, lack of talent, lack of testosterone. Now, these are understandable concerns, but these aren't the only concerns internally from CNN staffers. In order to get a true understanding of their concerns, we must remove the traditional Under Armour hat and deploy the services of our woke cat. Now, I'll give you guys a second to put on your woke hat so we can look at this situation unobjectively. All right, you guys ready? Okay, we have Andy Cooper, gay white male. We have Alisyn Camerota, white female. Katie Roo Collins, definitely white, but she's young, so gender remains unconfirmed. Although Katie Roo appears to be a beautiful young woman, I think it's safe to use she/her pronouns here. With her woke hats properly deployed, what is the obvious problem with this primetime lineup? I've got it! This is a classic case of mythical racism. This primetime lineup lacks color. Where is the minority inclusion? Get rid of this woke hat. According to both Insider and the New York Post, CNN staffers are pissed. They are fine with Andy Cooper remaining in his time slot, properly diminishing his audience. Internal opinions are unknown with Alisyn Camerota along with her identity. But the inclusion of the rooster seems to be causing the complaints of mythical racism. She's too young. She's too inexperienced. This is another case of white privilege. You see, since January, CNN has given this time slot to Laura Coates. Well, Casey, who in the hell is Laura Coates? Yeah. That's my point exactly. Laura Coates is a tenured employee at CNN, meaning she is familiar with failure. Since January, she's been hosting the 11 p.m. hour of CNN Tonight. Like her other colleagues at the network, Laura Coates has been a huge embarrassing failure. Ratings are down 61% when compared to last year. I did some digging. I checked her ratings just on some random nights. Some nights, Laura Coates is bringing in a cool 248,000 viewers. On the really good nights, she managed to attract 331,000. CNN staffers, they are claiming racial bias. They are insinuating that Katie Roo was given this job based on her white privilege, while Laura Coates was passed over because she's a black woman. Maybe, just maybe, Laura Coates was passed over because she wasn't resonating with the audience. She has been given 4 months, which I know that is not a long time in television, but she has been given 4 months to at least grow the audience. I mean, damn! Primetime ratings at CNN are already at record lows. There's nowhere to go but up, yet somehow Laura Coates managed to go down. CNN staffers, they're also pissed off because the primetime lineup will feature white hosts with black contributors. Correct me if I'm wrong. For years, members of Woke United Methodist, they were complaining because black people were not being given enough opportunities in television. Now they're complaining because black people are being given opportunities. Instead of these anonymous staffers taking their complaints to management at CNN, they are leaking their complaints to the mainstream media. Why? Complaining to management is useless. They are just trying to appeal to racist, conservative, white viewers. They're trying to appeal to conservatives with Andy Cooper? We keep hearing this same tired narrative. The shitfucks are all about diversity until they cross swords. They can't complain about Andy Cooper. He belongs to the alphabet. Katie Rue fits their diversity standards until she is given an opportunity over a black woman. In that case, doctors at Woke Memorial Hospital, they give a dual diagnosis: white privilege with a dose of mythical racism. I keep repeating myself, but there is only one thing that matters in television: ratings. Some are claiming Laura Coates was not given enough time. Kaitlin Collins was given 1 week in prime time and damn near doubled the audience of Laura Coates. Now, I know it was different time slots. I get all that, but Laura Coates, she was hosting in prime time during the least watched period on CNN in over 30 years. I'm sure Donnie Lemon is sour about Kaitlin Collins' promotion to prime time. Just imagine how Donnie is feeling today. His arch nemesis, the woman he berated in front of everyone at CNN, is receiving his old primetime time slot, while he is rotting away in the morning next to a Poppy Harlow. I doubt Kaitlin Collins will be receiving any of Don's special lemonade anytime soon. If I'm Laura Coates, I'm looking at this like it's a blessing in disguise, because this primetime lineup is destined for failure. Nothing can save CNN at this point. The damage has already been done. You could put Charles Barkley and Bill Maher back to back in primetime on CNN. They're still not going to draw ratings. The ratings problem at CNN, that is just the symptom. The real problem at this network is a lack of credibility. People used to trust CNN. When there was major breaking news, most people turned to CNN for the story. That is no longer the case because CNN has proven they can't be trusted. Since Chris Licht took over last year, I have been telling you guys there is only one way to solve the problems at CNN: eradicate the woke fungus. You got to start from the inside. How many times have I said that? You have got to start from the inside. What we have seen the last few months with all these stories leaking to the mainstream media, it's the exact reason I have been saying that. You can fire Brian Stelter, the donut diva. You can move Donnie Lemon out of primetime to morning TV. You can swap all the hosts you want. That's just a band-aid to the real problem. If you don't fix the problems internally, if you don't eradicate the fungus, it's going to continue to spread. Just think about it. Just think about this. In the last 6 months, which cable news network has had the most internal stories leaked to the mainstream media? Don Lemon makes headlines every week, doesn't translate to ratings. CNN staffers are leaking stories every week, doesn't translate to ratings. We barely hear shit for fuck behind the scenes from Fox and MSNBC. I think CNN staffers internally, I think they are revolting, hoping to get Chris Licht fired. Give me your thoughts. CNN looks past Laura Coates, gives a primetime slot to Kaitlin Collins. Staffers accuse CNN of mythical racism. Do you think this is an example of white privilege and mythical racism? Why do you think Kaitlin Collins was chosen over Laura Coates? Also, can anything save CNN at this point? You let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.